Do 3D circumstances matter when you're manifesting? Yes and no. And why is this? A lot of manifestation coaches will tell you that you should just ignore your 3D circumstances and just focus on your own vibration and your own energy. And this is correct, because when you are manifesting, what you are manifesting is coming from your energy and your vibration. So all of your 3D circumstances are the byproduct of your vibration of the past. It is where you have been vibrating in the past. So that makes sense then, right? That you would ignore your 3D circumstances if you want to manifest something different, because you don't need to change your 3D circumstances in order to manifest something different. You just need to change your internal state. However, what people don't understand is that your 3D circumstances are an extremely valuable tool that you can use to your advantage to manifest faster. And this is because your 3D circumstances are a window into your subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind controls 95% of your life. Today's scientists estimate that 95% of our brain's activity is unconscious. So that means that the majority of the decisions that we are making, the actions that we are taking, our emotions and our behaviors are all governed by our subconscious mind. So we are not consciously aware of 95% of the things that we are doing. So when you're manifesting and you're using only the 5% conscious awareness of your mind to create your reality, you are not aware of the other 95% of your mind that is also creating your reality. So this leaves a lot of space for things to manifest in our reality that we don't want, or for us to just be really confused about what is happening in our reality. And this can also be why some of us feel like we are blocked from our manifestations, or we're not manifesting what we want into our lives. This is because your subconscious mind is manifesting those things. So the way that you can use your 3D circumstances to your advantage is to observe them and figure out what exactly is in your subconscious mind, because you are looking at your 3D circumstances and looking at the totality of your vibration, both your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So when you just look around at your 3D reality, you can in an instant find out the entirety of what's going on a conscious and a subconscious level in your mind. So it's not about ignoring your 3D circumstances, it is about detaching and disidentifying from your 3D circumstances. You want to understand that your 3D circumstances are a byproduct of your past vibrations, but you also want to use them as a tool to figure out what's going on in your subconscious mind, so you can figure out what beliefs you need to change in order to change that reality. If you took 7 days of your life and you decided to just disidentify from what is going on around you and just observe it, you'd become aware of what things are triggering you, and you'd become aware of what positive things are manifesting in your life. So you'd become aware of what your vibration is relative to the major sectors of your life. So you would become aware of what your totality of your vibration is relative to relationships by observing the relationships that are in your life. You'd become aware of what your vibration is relative to money by observing the money scenarios that are happening in your life. You could look at a day in your job and figure out what the totality of your vibration around your career is. So your 3D circumstances are actually a really powerful tool that you can use to figure out what's going on a conscious and subconscious level. Become aware of that 95% of your mind that is subconscious, and you can use that information in your manifestation practices so that you understand what beliefs and what thought patterns you need to shift to make the reality shift. You deliberately chose to incarnate into a 3D dimensional reality so that you could use the 3D dimensional reality to create. So we did not come down to the 3D reality to ignore the 3D and completely spiritually bypass into other dimensions. On some level, you wanted to be here because you wanted to use the tools of the 3D reality to create matter in the 3D reality. And yes, of course, what do you need to do to manifest in the 3D reality? You need to focus on your vibration and energy. Manifesting is just coming from energy, right? So it's all energy. Your energy and frequency is all that you need to be concerned about. But your 3D reality is like a GPS. It is like a roadmap that is showing you all the different factors of your vibration, including those that you're not aware of, so that you can use that GPS to figure out where you're going and make a turn and change your route if needed. So let's talk a little bit about dimensions and how they relate to your 3D circumstances. So you are existing here, linear timeline, being born and dying. So your 3D circumstances in the 3D reality here do exist, correct? Your body exists in the 3D reality. And then, okay, so you go into the 4th dimension, and it is like the blueprint of the 3rd dimension. So you have kind of like your thoughts, emotions, egregores, everything that's not manifested. And then you have above here the 5th dimension, where you have all timelines existing simultaneously. And so your 3D circumstances do not matter because you can shift from different timelines whenever you want, because all timelines exist simultaneously. So in the 6th dimension, all of these timelines come together into a point. So time and space comes into a point. So if you are looking at these dimensions, dimensions and you're looking at how they expand into the third dimension, it would start out here in the sixth dimension as a point, expand into multiple timelines in the fifth dimension where you could shift between timelines, go into the fourth dimension where it is a vibrational energy, blueprints of the third dimension, and then into the third dimension here where you exist living on one singular timeline. So your body exists in the third dimension. Do your 3D circumstances matter? From the sixth dimension, fifth dimension, fourth dimension, no. From the third dimension, yes, they matter because you are incarnated in the third dimension and you are living on the singular timeline. So if you really do want to shift your 3D circumstances, the best way to actually do that is to raise your frequency to the fifth dimension. So you actually want to increase your consciousness and frequency so that you can access the fifth dimension. And how do you increase your consciousness and frequency? It is by becoming aware of your subconscious mind, because you have a lot of programming in your subconscious mind that you're not aware of that's dragging down your vibration. And so when you become aware of what's going on in your subconscious mind and you take back that power of your subconscious mind by focusing on it and becoming aware of it, you're gaining more power. You are able to have more access to these dimensions through things like astral travel, opening your third eye, all of those spiritual practices. But you're going to get access to those spiritual practices by increasing your consciousness, by increasing your frequency, by becoming aware of what's in your subconscious mind. Because essentially you are an all-powerful being, right? But you're only aware of 5% of your mind. So that 95% of your mind that you're not aware of contains within it a lot more power that you can use to do more things. So the best thing that you could do is use your 3D circumstances to become aware of your consciousness and what is in your subconscious mind so that you can use that information to open up greater levels of your subconscious mind and return back to higher states of frequency and vibration. Because essentially you are existing naturally at a high vibrational frequency, right? And you're only pulled down into lower frequencies because of all of these limiting beliefs that are placed on you. So you naturally, obviously, before coming down to earth, didn't have any limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs were programmed into you by virtue of socialization and all of that. So if you are able to hack all of your limiting beliefs and all of your subconscious programming, you're able to drop a lot of the anchors that are anchoring you down to these lower vibrations, and you will raise your consciousness and you will have more ability to access these powers to astral travel to other dimensions, open your third eye and things like that, so that you can then access higher dimensions and you can then shift timelines. So do your 3D circumstances matter? They do matter if you live in a human body because your body exists in the 3D. 5D and above, they don't matter. But a lot of these manifestation coaches that are telling you to just ignore your 3D circumstances are essentially telling you to bypass a major portion of your reality that could be used to your advantage to raise your consciousness. And by raising that consciousness, you will raise your frequency enough to access higher dimensional realities where you have more power and control over the timeline that you're on. So if you guys like this video, I actually did another video on how to shift into your desired timeline using parallel realities and the multiverse. And if you guys are interested in this type of stuff, dimensions, parallel realities, that video shows a really great process that you can use to shift into the timeline of your desired reality. So I definitely recommend that you check out this video next if you're interested in parallel realities and shifting into your desired timeline.